Welcome to French A-Level. In this video, I would like to explain to you what you are taking up with an A-Level in French, and there are a few slides to help you understand the content and the skills that will be developed through this course. We look at the different topics through the eyes of the French-speaking society. So we have the changing nature of family, cyber society, which we do as our first topic in the first year, and place of voluntary work still in the first year. We also cover artistic culture with a look at French heritage and Francophone heritage throughout the world, contemporary French music, which we enjoy throughout the course, and the cinema, the seventh art, and its place in our current contemporary society. In the second year, the topics get a bit more political. You have some looks at French society and French-speaking country societies through a variety of issues. We look at racism, immigration, marginalization, the criminals and how they are treated and helped, and also look at the right to vote and demonstration the power of the trade unions and politics in general. So it's really quite heavy going as far as the topics are concerned, which makes it really interesting. So alongside all the topic work that we will do together, you will also do some lit work, and we have chosen to analyze a novel called Nous et moi by Delphine de Vigan, which deals with the meeting of a young teenager with an SDF, which is somebody who is marginalized and lives on the street. And it sounds grim, but it's actually a very good novel, and the students really appreciate that they can understand what is going on and see that issue through a different light. We also have a film analysis that we will carry through after Christmas in the second year, and we study the film La Haine by Mathieu Kassovitz, which looks at social issues in outer city French, in one of the outer city banlieue, which is a suburb of Paris, and a very contemporary issue, sadly. And also you will be developing your IRP, which is your individual research project, and is like coursework, but for your speaking exam, which you will have alongside a speaking card in the final exam. So these are the two works we have opted for, and our students are very successful in dealing with them for the exam purpose, which is the paper 2, where you have to write an essay on the film and an essay on the book that we studied in time conditions in a paper that lasts 2 hours, and you have to produce an essay about 300 to 400 words in length, and obviously with a heavy analytical edge to it. How will you be assessed? Well, your grade will be at the end of the first year a accumulation of our continuous assessments, our tests, our end of unit tests. There will be one formal mock exam. We also run an individual independent work portfolio that we keep an eye on, that every student produces and is in charge of. And obviously your commitment, your passion, your participation and your attendance, all these aspects will be important in your outcome. At the end of the second year, you will have your formal examination, which consists of 3 papers. Paper 1, which is the big 2.5-hour paper, listening, reading and translation in both languages. Paper 2, a 2-hour paper, which will be writing of 2 essays, one on the film, one on our book. And paper 3, which will be a discussion of a card on the topic that we have studied over the 2 years, and also your presentation and of your individual research project. The lessons are varied, they are engaging, they are demanding a lot of our students because they have to practice all their skills on a regular basis. We go beyond the classroom and obviously work with the peers on our speaking. And there's plenty of homework and activities to polish all our skills. The entry requirements for A-level French are minimum grade 6 at GCSE French. Obviously, the higher the grade, the easier the transition. A passion for the language and a real keen attitude to learning will make the difference. What do you do after languages? Well, the door opens to a multitude of degrees, a multitude of possibilities, and teaching, translating are one of the options. I'm going to let you read some of the testimonials our students provided us with. Keep working hard, enjoy your languages, make sure you passionately tackle every task you're given, and hopefully see you next year. Good luck with your GCSE.
Hello, my name's Alison West. Welcome to the German department. I teach A-level German here, and I've got a short presentation to explain what's involved on the course. So in our first week at college, we have students from a wide range of local feeder schools, and we will look at the individual regions that comprise Germany and other German-speaking countries, such as Austria and Switzerland. So we'll look at what makes each region unique, the festivals and celebrations there, the different accents that people use in their speech there. And then we will start with the AQA textbook, which we use. Our first topic is technology. So what we're aiming to do at A-level is to get students to expand their vocabulary and grammar through a wide range of topics, and to express their opinions on various issues connected to those topics. So for example, with technology, I'll be getting the students to work in pairs or small groups, and they'll brainstorm their ideas and feed them back to the rest of the class on what the positive aspects of technology are and what the negative aspects are. So we're always getting students to expand their vocabulary and use more advanced grammar that I'm teaching them in class to express a range of viewpoints. The topics then in the first year move on to youth culture, and that comprises music and fashion and television. So again, we look at all the positive things that we can learn and do through television, but some of the negative aspects as well, for example. I'll always incorporate a grammar point with each topic. So in this case, I might teach, for example, separable verbs in the context of television. In the new year, we will have a look at family relationships. We will look at the festivals and traditions in Germany and German-speaking countries. And then we move on to the art and architecture section of the course. So the students will learn a lot about different movements in architecture and art. They will compare modern architecture with more traditional architecture and learn to express their views on the different styles. And similarly with painting, we'll look at different movements in the German art scene, and students will learn to express their opinions on these different techniques. Towards the end of the first year, we start looking at the historical background to the Berlin Wall, so the division of Germany after the Second World War into East and West. We study the political and historical and social context of that division, And that's the background to the film that we start studying at the end of the first year. So either Das Leben der anderen or Goodbye Lenin. So at the end of the first year, students will be learning how to write an essay on an aspect of the film. So it could be plot, character, film techniques. And so really by the end of the first year, they've come a very long way from GCSE. They're able to discuss and write about quite complex things. In the second year then, the topics become more socio-political. So we look at immigration, youth politics, the European Union, for example, and we study a German play, Der Besuch der alten Dame, again focusing on character, plot and narrative style. So you may be wondering about class sizes. They're usually quite small for German, so between 10 and 12 is quite normal for us. We will be discussing the topics that we study in small groups and in pairs, and so that there's plenty of opportunity to feedback your ideas and for individual attention and progress monitoring and practice with myself and with the trainee teacher. We usually have a trainee teacher through our relationship with Portsmouth University, who's often a native German speaker who helps with one-to-one speaking practice in class. So that's very helpful. We've got a whole range of audio and interactive resources as well as our textbook that the students use, and there's a lot of one-to-one support for the students. It's especially possible to do this with small groups. So how is the course assessed? Well, it's exam-based at the end of two years. So there are 3 exam papers which cover the skills of listening, reading, writing and speaking. So as I said, we study with the AQA exam board, and our students are usually very happy, very quickly settled in their groups and with their peers, and we get very good results. So I hope that's been useful, and please feel free to ask any questions if you'd like.
Hello and welcome to Spanish A-Level at Havant and Southtowns College. My name is Raquel and I am the Spanish A-Level course manager at Havant and Southtowns College, and I teach Spanish alongside Francoise, who's also a Spanish and French teacher at college. In this presentation, I will try to answer all the most frequently asked questions that we get during open evenings, and hopefully that will encourage you to join us next year to do Spanish A-Level at HSDC. So as you know, A-Level Spanish is 2 years. It's a linear subject, which means you will not have an exam during the first year. During the first year, you will study aspects of Hispanic society. We're going to look at cyberspace and how technology affects young people in Hispanic society. Traditional and modern values, we will look at the new concepts of family in Hispanic countries, and we'll also look at this affection of young people towards the Catholic Church. And then after that, we'll look at equality of rights. We'll move on to artistic culture in the Hispanic world, where we will study idols of the modern world and the effects that they have on young people in Spain and Latin America. Spanish regional identity, we will look at the different languages we speak in Spain. We will look at festivals, and we'll also look at gastronomy and cultural heritage and cultural scope, where we will look at the kinds of music, monuments and historical places that are important for Spain and Latin America. During the second year, things get a little bit more serious in terms of the intensity of the topics. We're going to look at things related to history and politics in Spain. So to start with, we will look at immigration, racism and integration and the situation in Spain and South America. And then we'll move on to aspects of political life in the Hispanic world, where we will look at unemployment in Spain and the crisis in Venezuela, perhaps. Then we'll move on to monarchies, republics and dictatorships, both in Spain and South America, and popular movements, in which we will study the political background of Spain in the last few years, where lots of political parties have developed, and we will study why. During the second year, we will also study some literature. We will analyze the play by Lorca, La Casa de Bernarda Alba, which is based on the 1930s life of Spanish women right before the Civil War. We will do some media studies. We will analyze a movie by Almodóvar called Volver, and you will also need to do an individual research project, which is part of your speaking exam, and we will go into that in a moment. If there is a formal examination, then there are 3 papers. Paper 1 is 50% of the total final grade, and it's formed by listening, reading and translation, both in English and Spanish. We will do lots and lots of practice in class to prepare you for that exam. Paper 2 is 20% of the total grade, and it will be writing of 2 essays, one on the play and one on the movie. You will have 2 options for the play and for the movie. You'll choose one and you will write a 300-word essay on both. This doesn't mean that you need to know how to write an essay. We don't have that expectation. We will help you during the course to learn how to write an essay and to do it the way that the examiners are looking for. So not to worry about that one. And finally, paper 3, which is the speaking exam, and is 30% of your total grade, which is comprised by 2 parts. The first part, you will have 2 cards, one from the first year and one from the second year topics. You will have 5 minutes to prepare for that card that you choose, and then you will come in and talk to the examiner, normally myself or my colleague Françoise, who's also a teacher of Spanish at Havant College. In that time, you will have a 5 to 6 minute conversation on that topic. The second part of the speaking exam is what we talked about before, the individual research project. You will have a 9 to 11 minute conversation about that project that you have researched, which I suggest is something that you're passionate about, and it has to be linked to Spanish speaking countries, whether it's Latin America or Spain or any other countries where Spanish is spoken. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for looking into the A-level Spanish at Havant College, and I'll hopefully see you next year. Bye for now.